Hi, it's Eric Edmond again, and I'd like to share a few of my thoughts with you about what's going to happen with the replacement of Strauss-Kahn as the head of the IMF. Well, the first thing I should say is I am not vastly impressed with Mr. Strauss-Kahn's performance. If he was so good to broker a deal that saved Greece, well, why is Greece back the third time for more money? And it patently has not worked. If all that's required of the head of the IMF is to dish out large dollops of other people's money to bankrupt states, then anyone can do it, frankly. You don't have to be an economic genius. The problem with Greece is it's locked in to a single currency at the wrong rate, and giving them more money is just going to make things worse. However, I've just been running through the runners and riders now for the position of managing director of the IMF. I see from the Telegraph today that something like the last 20 of the last 35 years we've had a French person running the IMF. That is not a healthy situation, that's all I can say. And it does lead to the IMF tending to have, shall we say, undue weight for the interests of La Belle France. The runners and riders are, well, the leading contender is Christine Lagarde. Now, I have great admiration for Christine Lagarde. She speaks immaculate English. She worked as a lawyer in Chicago for 20 years. And that is where, I'm not allowed to say it, but that is where the black man in the woodpile comes in, because of course Mr. Obama hails from Chicago as well. So depending on the relationship that she had with Mr. Obama while she was in Chicago, or Mr. Obama's associates, will depend largely on how the US see her candidacy. She does have a problem. She was involved in giving, shall we say, a helpful mediation or arbitration or decision to one of Nicolas Sarkozy's businessman friends, one Bernard Tapie, which is currently right now going through the French criminal courts. She is of course innocent until the result comes through, but it's not going to help her candidacy, nor being French will either. The other leading contender from the European side, I would say, is Axel Weber. Very much a hardline man. He was the president of Germany's central bank, the Bundesbank, and I would imagine that actually Merkel would prefer him to the delicious Madame Lagarde, because he's her man and she can rely on him. Going through the other ones, interestingly enough, is a Turk, Kemal Dervis, who is been involved with banking for many years and looks like a very, very good guy to me. And frankly, I think it's better that we break away from the domination of old Europe, principally France and Germany, which has existed in the IMF for many years, and we now look abroad for someone from the, shall we say, the developing world, and he is a Turk. The other candidates, there's one Agustin Carstens from Mexico. I don't know anything about him, nor do I know anything about Trevor Manuel from South Africa. There is also a Brazilian candidate, one Armindo Fraga. All I can say is that, as I opined yesterday in my blog, if you look at the number of the senior Eurocrats now who are coming out of the woodwork saying we must have a European head of the IMF to solve the Eurozone's problems, and these people include Barroso yesterday, we've had the Van Rompuy today, we've had of course Merkel going on about it, but she's interested in it because of course every pound, or every euro, sorry, the IMF puts in is €1 less that Frau Merkel has got to find. And I expect we will see more and more of this, that in order to save the Eurozone, we must have a European head of the IMF. The same argument could apply to Japan, which is also in a great economic mess and has been for many, many years. And they actually are, after the United States, our equal second largest contributor to the IMF with Germany. There are many fine Japanese economists, so I wouldn't regard it as a done deal for Miss Lagarde to walk in. She might well get it, but don't bet the bank on it. Thank you.